Twist in Time? Chapter 16. Sakura sat up with alerts to find herself in complete darkness. Her heart pounded as she blinked around the pitch black, trying to gauge her surroundings. Where the hell was she? Instead, a blinding flash lit up the room, followed by a thunderclap, and reverberated through. She jumped with surprise, only to sight several familiar pieces of furniture, now illuminated by the lightning flash. I know this place. Apparently Sasuke's wooden kitchen table missed a stack of medical tests most of brain scans. She couldn't help feeling a tinge of embarrassment at the predicament. This was the first time she had fallen asleep anywhere other than Sasuke's couch. She was quite adamant on sticking it to her non-invasive, nearly visible routine. Aware that changes were likely to irritate her cold, sensitive teammate, scheduled to stay out of his hair. Place. But that was another matter. Honestly, she was just relieved to find herself somewhere far away from her world of nightmares. Sakura's mind had graced her with a series of treacherous memories, made fresh by recent news of the upcoming tuning selection exams, the event that marked a previous life's downward spiral. She was plagued by thoughts of Orochimaru's infiltration of the exams, specifically the moment he invented his curse mark on Sasuke. Sakura hugged her cotton pajama-clad arms to squeeze her eyes closed, trying to ignore the image of Orochimaru's scaly white neck, contouring and stretching like a snake, lunging towards her, finding its target on Sasuke's neck. Her sharp fangs plunged in. What? Voicing interrupted Sakura's train of thought. Startled, she fumbled around for the weapon pouch she normally had fastened to her thigh, only to find she wasn't wearing it. But as she registered just whose voice it was. Sasuke! She gasped, spinning towards the hallway leading to the flat owner's bedroom. In there, sure enough, Sasuke stood at the opening of the dark hallway, wearing gray sweats and a black shirt and rubbing the sleep out of his eyes. Crap! What was he doing up? It felt strange to encounter him outside their usual routine. After bidding each other good night, Sakura at the kitchen table, she made her way to the couch to sleep. In the mornings, she was always long gone before Sasuke woke, and never saw him again until later that day at training. She got used to pretending Sasuke wasn't there once he left for his room. Sakura gasped at him, became aware of her, and drool smeared on his chin. But Sasuke didn't even seem to notice. Who calls me? He mumbled while scratching the back of his head, blinking through the darkness in her general direction. What is it? Called him? No, I didn't. She snatched on the back of her hand. But maybe, just maybe, there was a tiny, not so improbable chance that Sakura said his name in her sleep. Not him, after all. Her face flooded with color when it occurred to her just how loudly she must have said his name. Her cry woke him up. Sasuke merely cocked in his eyebrow in response. Why aren't you on the couch? He asked, ignoring her comment and nodding to the living room across the hall. I I was just about to go there, she said. Everything is fine. I'm I'm fine. This is so awkward. She scuttled on past him, feeling Sasuke's eyes keenly trained on her, and approached the couch to prepare to sleep on. Act natural, Sakura, she told herself firmly as she flipped up the pillows and felt around for a blanket. It was a little unnerving how Sasuke was now leaning in the living room doorway, arms folded, watching her every move with a skeptical look plastered on his face. What was he waiting for, anyways? Did he think she was up to something? Or did he just go back? Fine. Another thunderclap resounded, and Sakura took the foot in the air and emulated a shrill shriek. She peered nervously at her teammate, who, to her disappointment, was now smirking and shaking his head. I'm fine, really, she repeated, while averting her gaze and curling herself up on one side of the couch. Currents on jar, and feeling the first of the rain pain. That was when the cushions below Sakura dipped slightly. She whipped her head around to find that Sasuke had eased onto the other side of the couch. She straightened up with a surprise and pulled the blanket more tightly to her chest. She spent so much time alone on this couch, she nearly forgotten it was Sasuke's. He technically had every right to sit on it when he pleased. That said, Sasuke had never taken an interest in sitting on it with her. Sakura was certain she had betrayed her differently, since he looked over her brain scans with Shikamaru and Naruto the previous evening, to her forehead unusually frequently last night. Even after the other boys left, Sasuke had never near her than he usually did, and even offered to make food for her when her stomach growled while she perused a heap of textbooks. was a little unnerving how fascinated he seemed by her now with her hidden abilities. What did he think she was? A shiny new toy? A weapon to polish? He didn't understand the pain this was putting her through. Sakura's life was ruined. The time visit was now impossible. Of course, Sasuke was the only person besides herself to her. But what she deduced from them was true. The two of them wouldn't be the only ones to know the truth for much longer. See that some of the regenerative chakras she'd been building up in her former life had surprised the trip from the dimensions. This very chakra was speeding up her current brain's development. What was exactly doing to her brain? The evidence pointed to one possible conclusion. Sakura was about to unlock the strength of 100 Seal, a jutsu designed by Tsunade Senju, her former mentor herself. As the name suggests, the jutsu taps into a monstrous, chakra-enhanced reserve of physical strength. That's not even the best part. It also gives the user an opportunity to master a regenerative, self-enhancing medical jutsu called Creation Rebirth, a technique that makes the user virtually indestructible. Somebody need to run a chakra or overuse these powers. Under normal circumstances, Sakura would be ecstatic. For 3 years, she trained tirelessly to build up her chakra and one day unlock the skill. And, as Tsunade promised her, when she finally unlocked it, she would be the second medical ninja in Konoha's history, granted full access to the front line of any battle. But there was a catch. The strength of 100 Seal bears a permanent mark on its wielder. It's not exactly an easy mark to miss. A dark purple diamond smack dab in the middle of the user's forehead. Oh, how unprecedented it would be if a homegrown, fresh out of the academy ninja went around bearing the mark of a legendary Sannin. A mark indicating that Sakura had mastered the techniques of a woman she apparently never met. Tsunade would be made clear as day. She had absolutely no idea how to talk her way out of it. Would she be accused of stealing the technique? Being a spy? Reincarnation of some sort? And what about when she actually met Tsunade? How would she explain herself then? Sakura sighed with frustration and rubbed her temples. What was she to do? A bolt of lightning branched across the sky, pulling Sakura from her thoughts. She blinked and realized she had been staring dazedly at her head away. Stirred, noticing her abrupt movement. You aren't going to be sick again, are you? Yeah, seriously. Tilting his head to face her. Sick? Really? That's what you thought this was about? No, I'm not sick. She answered quickly, watching the trees swaying in the shadows outside. Sasuke leaned back onto the couch, making no motion to return to bed. Good, he said. I don't want you puking on my couch. After a pause, he added, what was that about yesterday morning, anyways? He too was watching the storm now, flashes of light dancing across his dark eyes. You weren't actually sick because of food, were you? Damn, he's good. Sakura sighed. I don't know. She lied dismissively, but Steve was persistent. I also doubt you don't find yourself capable of entering the tuning exams. He didn't say anything more, deliberately prompting her to answer. She sighed. Okay, you're right, she said, nervously nibbling on her lower lip. Something happened yesterday morning, before I met you all at the bridge. What happened? Sasuke asked, watching her intently. Knowing her heartbeat echoing in her ears, she recounted the events of the previous morning. A week or two before the first exam, the participants from other villages usually start showing up to register and get settled in. That's exactly what happens now. There are all sorts of powerful and unusual characters prowling around Konoha as we speak. Then Sasuke turns towards the window, as if an enemy might appear. I thought I noticed strange chakra signatures. Yes, well, I ran into a ninja from the Sound Village yesterday, so I followed him. Sakura said, closing her eyes and wincing at the memory. Sakura took a rooftop shortcut to the training the previous morning. In a foreign yet familiar chakra signature. She followed her senses, and soon spotted none other than Zaku through Sakura's body at the sight. The fast approach the tuning exams were. And seeing Zaku here on Konoha turf was among the starkest reminders he could have received of all people. The tall in his palms. It pummeled Sakura to a bloody mess the last time she'd seen him. In the tuning exams of her former life, in fact, seen Seven's face off of Zaku's team. It was the first time Sasuke had succumbed to Ritsumaru's newly inflicted curse. He had totally lost himself, dismantling Zaku's arms with the strength lent to him by the wicked. And Sakura even had to physically restrain her teammate before he went on beating Sakura's entire team to death. You followed him? Sasuke repeated with interest, impelling her to carry on with her story. Yeah, she said, nodding. I followed him to where his three-man team was training in a secluded area of the village. I stayed a safe distance away and watched them for a while, but then I got hit by rain techniques. So you're hurt? I'm fine now, she said. His teammate didn't attack me directly. If he hit me head on, it would have been a different story. This sound ninja, Dosu, can manipulate sound waves. I got caught in the crossfire and made me sick. Thanks to a quick anti-nausea medical jutsu, Sakura managed to trip to the training grounds. Like Kakashi's reminder that the tuning stands were Sakura's emotional turmoil broke right through the ninjutsu in the form of vomit. Sakura flushed into memory. How's that for your great fever, Tsunade-sama? She thought with a stab of humiliation, balling her trembling hands into fists. Well, you still aren't feeling well. Sasuke determined you should sleep. Then Sasuke Alton did. He didn't know what else to say. He stood up and motioned to leave. Just before he turned around the hallway leading to his room, he added, wandering around the village alone probably isn't a good idea now. You never know who could be out there. Sakura's heart started to pound. He had a point. All the twisted enemies from her past would be right in this village at any moment. Kabuto, Gaara, Orochimaru. There's no way hell Sakura was going to get any sleep tonight. Sakura was on her way to the library. After hours of sleepless turmoil, she finally reached the conclusion she would not do this alone. She could not do this alone. It was time to be realistic. That's because Sakura had special insights into the events that were soon to take place. It didn't mean she had to deal with all of her accompanying problems by herself. She was physically and mentally incapable of doing so. Even with a super brain, or whatever Naruto called it, she was still only human. So, with that driving thought in mind, the following day, Sakura decided she would skip out on training with Team 7 to gather evidence that justified the Sound Village being disqualified for the Chunin selection. Now, her first impulse would have been to go directly to Hokage Tower and plead with the village's High Council. It would have been a rational side of her to recognize how. See, Sakura went straight to Hokage Tower without any proof. Firstly, no one would believe her. Secondly, it likely sounded like she was the one trying to rouse conflict between them. No authority makes such claims. Heck, she wouldn't be the least bit surprised if she were tossed to jail or a psych ward in response. Sakura instead, she needed to collect the information on the Sound Village's corrupt political structure. The Leaf Village's High Council was presented with tangible evidence of what went on in Sound's borders, shift for the worse. So if everything fell into place, just how Sakura hoped it would, Leaf would reflow Sound's invitation to participate in the exams. Then, without Sound's support, Sand would call up the attack on Leaf, and the exams would ensue without interest. This plan sounded a lot better at 2 in the morning, she thought. But onward she strode. It was the only plan she had. I want to take a break for 5 seconds and say, I like this. A lot of these other Naruto Groundhog Day things finally jump into thinking, oh, I can present the evidence and tell you guys about what's going to happen next in the story, because not only have I read the manga and seen the anime, but I'm sure you guys are going to trust me right out the... Why am I in an asylum? Of course, it was just Sakura selected. Every single book on the Sound Village was checked out of the library. I even made a detour to the hospital's small collection of reference books. She recalled carrying a book on the Sound Village's health policies once, only find it was nowhere in sight. Her teeth, and to Professor Clark, perched behind a small desk in the library, I said, "Excuse me," Sakura said, forcing a calm facade. "Could you please tell me who has checked out library directory? A guy..." The woman frowned and pushed her thick-rimmed glasses further up the bridge of her long nose. Just a moment," she said while reaching for a hefty black binder. After a few minutes of thumbing through the pages and scanning list after list of handwritten notes, she said, yes, Nara, Shishaku. He sent it out a month ago. In fact, it's well past his due date." She clicked her tongue and reached for a colored pen, muttering something awful like, "I'll work with him again." But Sakura hardly noticed. The culprit's surname was Nara. It was a relative of Shikamaru's, likely his father's. "Thanks," she said hurriedly, circled back towards the hospital entrance. "Now I gotta find Shikamaru." Sakura hadn't intended for this to become a scavenger hunt, but that's what it took for her to get her hands on that book, so be it. The book must make reference to any sort of mason or corrupted villains, but genetic experimentation to infanticide. With the right amount of evidence, Sakura planned to compile a list of reasons to conduct an investigation of sound villains. At least something fishy about a bone-chilling scream interrupted her thoughts. Immediately, Sakura's medical and incest instincts roused, and her feet carried her through the hospital hallways towards the sound of the voice. She came to an abrupt halt in the entrance of the emergency wing, where a young boy was being cradled in a man's arms. It was all Sakura could process the situation because of all the blood. Liters of blood were spilling to the floor, staining the boy's leg. And like a bee to honey, Sakura raced into the scene. She beckoned for the man to sit the boy down to the ground, reached for the leg of the boy's pants to inspect his injury, only to find that his foot was gone. That explains a lot. Mechanicalistically, Sakura took the exit there in the hallway of the emergency ring. She tore the black band from her lace and fastened the boy's calf as a tourniquet, in attempt to stop the blood flow. She then reached into her medical bag, which was now displayed, pulled out a small container of pills. Painkillers! She answered the man. She presumed was a relative of the boy, based on how he was holding back tears, clearly experiencing muscle distress. Give him half a pill! The man nodded fervently. Instead, Sakura instructed. Despite Sakura's lack of medical attire, she seemed to carry enough of an authoritative demeanor for the man to trust her. He also seemed ready to do anything to see the bleeding boy clearly in his arms. The procedure went smoothly. Given Sakura's experience tending to grave injuries on battlefields, this was right in her element. It took only 20 minutes of her old life to remove the dead cells, stop the bleeding, send a pulse of soothing chakra through the damaged nerves, create a protective coating around the stump, and, as she rehearsed on countless occasions, managed against the man in a light-hearted chat while she was casting her ninjutsu on the boy, who was losing consciousness. She learned that the man was indeed the kid's father, and the boy was an academy student aspiring ninja. This will have to be a setback, Sakura offered gently, as she unwrapped her waistband for the boy's leg. This hospital has the greatest prosthetic limb research lab across the 5 great nations. He'll need intensive rehabilitation, but I have high hopes for his recovery. You mean that? The man said in awe. Because he hugged his boy more tightly. I should never let him near the train grounds without me. And the man took a stirring breath. Sakura recognized the attempt to stifle a sob. Grabbing his hand and looking the man dead in the eye, she said in a strong, unwavering voice, Sir, your son will have as good a shot as he always did being a ninja. Even without a foot, he sets his mind to it, he can do anything. We'll support him every step of the way. He's a lucky kid to have a responsive father who knew to take him straight to the hospital just in time. She patted the back of the man's hand affectionately, stood up. Now, even though the wound is healed, I recommend you have a nurse to clean his hand properly. We don't want him getting an infection. The man was staring at her now with wide, glossy eyes. I will, thank you, he said softly. Sakura nodded in response, preparing to turn away from the scene. But she was held in place by a shuffling sound around her. She turned around and found a large crowd standing there, including several nurses holding out stretcher, surgeons, doctors, Supervisor Ayame, receptionists, and other patients who had been waiting around the room. Hello, Sakura said, a little awkwardly, realizing how odd it must seem for the fresh out of the academy intern to perform an advanced medical procedure in the middle of the hallway. She said, while turning back to the man on the ground. Looks like there's plenty of nurses for you to ask right here. She got a small nervous struggle to break the silence. Well, I gotta get going. Take care! Finally, she turned to the emergency exit. Wait! Doctor! The man called to her, for when he was close to the ground. Doctor! Can I get your name? The response came naturally. I'm Sakura Haruno. Some of my patients call me the Pink Medic. She turned away again. This time she really did find the exit of the hospital, leaving a horde of flabbergasted medical personnel behind her. Now, time to find Shikamaru. Does anybody find it odd that Sakura's voice actor later goes on to voice Ami-chan? Shikamaru. Where on earth could she find him anyways? Sakura hadn't the slightest idea where he lived, or Team 10 was on a mission today. Besides the library, which she already thoroughly explored, she wasn't sure where to bring his ninja. Well, she needed to waste her time. Instead, she would look for someone who might know. Time was it didn't take long for Sakura to think of who that. 15 minutes most heavily lined with shops, Sakura's heart leapt at the sight of the very blonde-haired Koichi she was trying to find. Ino! She cried at the top of her lungs before she could take care of it. Ino, who had been twirling a strand of her long hair around her window, side-eyed the incoming voice. Sakura wasn't entirely certain what their status of their unstable friendship was at the moment. It was only a matter of time before Sakura's loudmouth teammate blabbed a series of Sasuke's close relationship to anyone would listen, and Ino had an ear for gossip. But this was Sakura had a life or death mission to fulfill. Jealous, dramatic hissy fits getting her way. Ino, listen! Sakura said through bated breaths, nearing the where I find Shikamaru. Forehead. Ino responded flatly. Why are you asking me? Sakura caught a note dismissiveness in her tone, a crimson annoyance. Resisting a strong breath and said, since you're his teammate, I figured you might have. But Ino's icy blue eyes only narrowed. It's just favor after favor with you, isn't it, Forehead? She sneered. Now, if my sisters are correct, you and your dunce of a teammate are trying to spread a rumor you're dating Sasuke. Tell me, Sakura, why should I help you? This is just great. Already more convenient time for. Sakura didn't have time for this. Those in the ninja. I'm serious. I need to find Shikamaru. This is urgent. Sakura pleaded while staring intently at her friend, clasping her hands together. I promise I didn't start any rumors. To her disappointment, however, Ino merely rolled her eyes. Rosy lips seemed curling into a sneer. I don't owe you a damn thing, Sakura! You know what all the girls have been talking about these days? Your new outfit. And who picked it out for you? Me! Who gave you a social life when we were kids? Now you got the nerve to parade around claiming that the boy who everyone is after would give you a chance? You're delusional, Forehead. Delusional. Sakura opened her mouth and closed it again. Her chest went quite place. She'd forgotten how nasty she and Ino were to each other in their early teenage years. But they moved on. They made up and rekindled their friendship. It was stronger than it. Well, in her past life, that is. When he'd grown older, the pair of them wouldn't dream of letting a boy ruin. Ino helped Sakura get back on her feet after Sasuke left the village. She welcomed Sakura into her own three-man squad the second time to participate in the Chunin selection exams. And, side by side, they advanced in rank. It was Ino who took Sakura out for a drink after a day at work, or after a mission, or to celebrate a promotion, or just to catch up. Alright, so they went for drinks a lot. A side effect of having Tsunade for a mentor, Sakura figured. God, how Sakura missed her old friend, her old experiences, her old life. What I wouldn't give to go back. It was in moments like these when I felt like her old world was about to collapse. That Sakura created the moment with someone she could confide in. Keep her check and give her advice. It's like she didn't have anyone remotely close to that kind of confidence she needed, except for one person. But she wasn't so certain he counted. When I cue, someone roughly tapped Sakura on the shoulder. More of a jab, really. She snapped her head around, reflexes on high alert. Only for a shot, and nearly hit the dirt road when she discovered who it was. Sasuke-kun? Ino squealed from somewhere behind her. Sakura ignored the ear-piercing sound. Sakura snarled, eyes narrowing. Sasuke was fully clad in his ninja gear. Must have finished up at the training grounds with Naruto and Kakashi. He towered over Sakura with dark eyes narrowed. He didn't pick a worse time to show up. Things weren't going exactly as planned with Ino. I ain't hope of passing out their primary moment to cause their argument starting to show up in his flesh. Sasuke chose. Where have you been? He growled, folding his arms. He wore what appeared to be an impassively cool expression that Sakura had come to recognize as a mask for inner rage. What does that matter, Sasuke-kun? Ino butted in with a flirtatious giggle, attempting to push her way closer to the object of her desire. Eyelids were fluttering unnaturally, frequently, and her face tinted a pale shade of pink. But then, to Ino's surprise, Sakura nodded. Yeah, why does it matter? Face. You didn't show up at training. I didn't know where you were. He deadpan with a glare. Sakura felt Ino freeze behind her. This isn't good. Despite his aggressive tone, Sasuke was making that fake dating scheme seem like a rumor. This exchange just had to be happening right in front of the very lousy ninja in the entire. I I have my reasons, Sakura said, confidence wavering. Why don't you tell that to Kakashi then? He said, Sakura's arm. She was a little surprised and opened her mouth to retort when a new voice approached. Tell me what? Sakura spun around. Surely enough, there stood her masked sensei. Sakura really couldn't believe her horrible luck. She was in a rush now. With the 286, of course, today of all days, everyone was choosing to make horribly timed interruptions. Oh, Sakura started, glancing at her sensei unsuredly. She still didn't have her head around Sasuke's recent appearance. I wanted to apologize. Crap! Now she was starting and sounded suspicious. True, she was nervous. Sakura couldn't afford for Kakashi to catch her in any more suspicious scenarios. I wanted to before while bravely looking up at her sensei, finding the color rising in her face. There was an emergency in the hospital. And if he does packing up. Kakashi seemed unfazed. That's fine. Silva shrugged, hands in his pockets. I'm glad you're practicing your medical ninjutsu. Sakura was midway through a sigh of relief when he added, but I'd like to have a word with you. Her stomach did a somersault. A word? About what? Miss Yamanaka was unusually quiet. Her face was twisted and rather bitter expressing. If you don't mind, I'd like to speak to my students. She nodded Sakura one last glare before turning her heel and taking off. Dana! She called, but was quickly ignored. Well, this was just lovely. Sakura didn't have time for this. Any of this. What did it matter if Kakashi was angry anyways? When the war started, it would be the last thing on any of their minds. She needed to focus on her mission. She needed to research the Sound Village, approach the Hokage with credible evidence, and keep Orochimaru out of the village. So, have you two eaten lunch? Kakashi asked, glancing up from the orange book he apparently pulled out of his weapon pouch, while Sakura's mind was racing. Sasuke and Sakura shook their heads in unison. Good, come with me. Without warning, he leaped onto a nearby roof. In a flash, seeing Sasuke tailed him as he bounded from rooftop to rooftop through the damp, post-storm air. As irrelevant as following Kakashi around at a time like this might be, it managed to pique Sakura's curiosity. Her sensei often made reference to skipping meals when they were about to engage in particularly strenuous exercise, like the bell test. Despite everything that happened, she was relieved that Kakashi was including Sasuke in on this too. Then he probably wasn't trying to corner her. Sakura was leading them to the training grounds, so they could spar while he assessed the extent of her abilities. So when Kakashi hopped down from the streets to the village outskirts, Sakura was quite surprised. Old sort of residential complex, on a road lined with ramshackle houses. In need of Kakashi glanced at his students over his shoulder. Have you been to the spot? No, Sakura answered, but seeing noticed on a large sign to the building immediately in front of them was in fact a restaurant. Oh no, he said with dismissive vibe. I know the owner of this place. Let's go in and tell her you're my student house. Sakura gasped at her sensei disbelief. This had nothing to do with training at all. Kakashi, who was still clearly under the were in some kind of relationship, was setting up for a date. Well, not too far off. Now this she didn't have time. Sakura glanced at her teammate for support. She found him removing his forehead protector. Alright, he said with a shrug. And that was how Sakura ended up spending her afternoon on a date with the love of her life. Scream! A date she would do just about anything to get away from. Come on, he's gone. She played for the uptown now. We can leave now. We both know Kakashi could be anywhere. Sasuke answered between sips of water. Don't see what difference this makes. We both need a lunch. Sakura looked at him with disbelief. He was trying to rationalize the date. Sasuke was. With a pang of frustration, she didn't realize what a tragedy her life was. She spent years pining after this guy. If an opportunity like this came up at any other point in her life, when she was a proper state of mind and didn't have to weight in the world on her shoulders, of course, that wasn't how things played out. You're not eating. She blinked a few times and finally noticed the aroma of the lunch to sit down at her table, while Sakura was lost in her thoughts. Oh, right, she said while tucking a strand of hair behind her ear, reaching for her chopsticks. Sasuke lowered his. Sakura could feel his eyes trained on her now. She stared intently at her food. You weren't attacked today, were you? he asked in a hushed tone, leaning forward, placing a hand on the table between them. No, she answered sharply. What makes you think that? There's something wrong with you. His steady tongue was laden with some sort of emotion Sarah couldn't quite put her finger on. Pity? Concern? She peered up at her teammate's face and met his expectant glare. Did he want to expect an instant for her mood? A play-by-play of her day? Just who does he think he is? Certainly Sakura would freak him out if she admitted the things that weighed on her mind. They were training partners and good friends, and already knew too much about her life. Sakura needed to distract. Everything was okay. So Sakura put on her brightest of smiles and reached out to place her hand over Sasuke's. His fingers felt cold against hers. I'm fine. Please don't worry about me. She lied, forcing some lightheartedness to her tone. It was a hard day at the hospital. My boy almost bled out, and I'm not used to the life or death stuff. Sakura deliberately skipped a few blinks to dry her eyes out and fill her tear ducts with some moisture. Perfect. Sasuke was glancing between her tear-filled eyes with a blank expression. They broke into a smirk, face relaxing. I call bullshit. He said a little amusingly, giving her hand a squeeze. Try again. This would have been so much easier if I was having lunch with Naruto. Make matters worse, Sakura felt a blush creep across her cheeks. Just called her bluff. Possibly because she was still holding onto her hand with a different smile. So what now? Tell him the truth? She needed to get out of here. She would have to explain that she was feeling sick again or something. But just when Sakura was about to open her mouth to respond, a voice caught her attention. Pink, that's her, right? Sasuke seemed to notice it too. His smile faded, and his head snapped around towards the void. Two unfamiliar chakra presences were approaching. Sakura was on her feet before she got a proper look at him, dragging Sasuke up beside her. Sakura blinked in strangeness and confusion, trying to gauge who the tall, cloaked man were. You're Sakura Haruno? Taller man on the right asked calmly. Wasn't making any motion to threaten her or entice her to a battle. Sakura knew better to let her guard down around the unfamiliar ninjas. Can I help you? She said unwaveringly, while squaring her shoulders. She noticed Sasuke's free hand hovering over the weapon pouch on his side. Excellent, said the sword of the two men, clapping his hands together dismissively. Well, at least you come with us now. He cast Sasuke a quick glance. It'd probably be best if your boyfriend didn't follow us. Yeah, with a bright smile. Someone's gotta pay for lunch, right? Seriousness in his tone was the same rate with Sakura. And where are you exactly planning to take me? Sakura asked, her hand intensively balled to fist and turning her up with Sakura. The Hokage Tower, he answered, for an interrogation. Other note. What keeps you turning pages in this story? That is a loaded question, and one best thing for the usual spot to review at the end of the show.